Memories are the diaries that we all carry about with us. Some might be good, others are bad. Unfortunately, we can't choose which memories to remember. Looking at the jovial Antony, a third-year student, interact with other students in school, you will never imagine what he harbors behind his smile. Living his childhood memories is the worst nightmare he has to face every day. It's true to say the strongest people in the morning are those who cried all night, and the strongest hearts have the most scars.
Hello, I'm Wajiro Antony, this university student taking clinical psychology. I'm in my third year, last semester. That means next semester will be my final year. I found myself in my step-grandmother's place. My step-grandmother was so harsh to me, and there was some severe beating that used to happen to me because there was still another brother I was having. But for him, he had ran away from that home and was still in class 3 and was a Shaba boy somewhere. But now I was left there. First time I started now asking, who am I have come from? And the same step-grandmother was so good to explain to me what all happened when I was young. My mother came to happen that was a sex commercial worker at Lugaruga slums, Nakuru, where she had like 2 abortions before me. And then she tried mine, but it was so late that may forced her to be bedridden. And after she gave birth to me, she didn't survive. Like for a month, she died after a month. There's a time that I was left almost for 3 days in the house when I was still young in Nakuru. And when people broke the house, they thought that I was eating my waist, you know, and some worms had started taking better of me. That means that I had developed deformation. That means I had a big head more than the other body. I was looking like a cripple. They thought I would never start again. I would never, my body will never grow towards that of a normal person. And they had many plans. The whole I hear, they had many plans. They had taken to many those village doctors with no hope. And then, like according to what I hear, the shock that was there is that after 5 years, my head started reducing and my other body started growing slowly by slowly, and I started walking. I started studying my feet. By that time, I was told that I used to fall down and ningebodeka kichwa tu kidogo, but I think I was ambitious from the time I was young. And now, what was supposed to be a good luck to the step-grandmother, because she never got her own children there in that family, turned to be like a bad luck to me, because she became hostile. I don't like, she had a thought like I would die when I was young. Beaten. If you look me clearly here, I have a scar that is from, I don't know what to term it. There's this thing there where we close the padlock. There's that thing that, I don't know, I have no appropriate term to call it, but where we close the padlock, she pulled me there, that watu walikuwa wananisukuma hivi because ilikuwa imekwama kwa kichwa. And I remember even today, I had that voice of that scar ikitolewa kwa kichwa. But I thank God I survived that. A lot of beating, a lot of harsh hostility, because I used to remember, like, once my uncle chased me from the place I was sleeping with him. We used to sleep in the same house, and he chased me because they were terming me Akusu person, and like my father was a Bukusu, a Luya, a Bukusu, and according to stereotyping of Kikuyu, Bukusu eats people. And I was later chased, and I was told to go and sleep in a different house. And it brought a lot of paranoia in me. My self-esteem went slow, because I remember once I went to school and I asked my fellow people, and when you look at me, do I look, because there's something I used to say here. If you look my dental, it have one of my teeth that is a bit long, and I used to ask the people, do I, because I didn't know when will I start now showing this cannibalism characteristic? And I asked my student, do I look like a man-eater? Because I used to see, like, one day I reached someone. There, a lot of beating. If you know the village life, there is that metal lord we try to pepeta moto nayo. She used to cane me that naked. My back, it was, oh my God, I don't even know why I can say it, because even today I still have a problem in my back, because she used to cane me. It would develop a problem in my back that it even sometime last year, but one, it had even caused me to go to hospital for a checkup. But I passed my class 8 exam. Nothing for the coming came on my way. They refused to take me anywhere because I had scored 346 and I was scored a very good extra county score. I didn't have money. No one is willing to take me, but I thank God that the church I was attending came across, I won't mention the name, and that is how I saw my first leg. And I went with 16,001. An individual person is called, I think, Baba Deri, gave 30,000 and I went to high school. And now that's a new phase of my life, because I said now I can't dare again go back there, because now I'm sharing the physical, the physical. I'm not sharing the spiritual life. Still, I had some struggle spiritually, because of the family setup was not Christian based. It was the old family witchcraft based, witch doctor based, and I say I'm getting born again in the same family. When I went to high school, life literally changed, because, for example, for other students used to be visited in school. Me, I just used to, kudoya kwa wengine. But I thank God, God used to bring people who has good heart. Some student used to completely support me, like one of the guy who is in Germany right now. When I was in first high school, that is Kiagodo Boys, he used to share with me whatever he was having, the shopping. And other guys that really supported me. But still, it was a problem, because during the time of crossing, I had nowhere to go. Because I couldn't imagine my mind going back there, because I knew the hostility that is there. And I couldn't get the pocket money, I couldn't get anything, even the school fees. The school fees is piling up. And here I am, I don't have even a place to go. What I did, I used to be left at school. I used to pretend I'm those good performers. I'm remaining there to lead with the Form Force. And for me, it was a home, because I wanted to be left with a student. That is how it went through. Until Form 3, some student came across, I won't mention them, some calling them me to their home. But one place that I was taken to Kayore, and it changed, like I became a house boy in that home. But I thank God, it was still a passing time. In Form 3, my principal chased me out of school, because he called me and he told me, Antony, you look like that thing, the goat. That thing, I don't know what we call it, but you look like that thing, that it is not in the meat, it's not in the skin. You're not performing, you don't have school fees. And now you tell me, pick your box and mattress, you're gonna go to a CDF office. That was the worst time in my life, because when I picked the box, I didn't know where to go, who to call. And I remember my switch patron was good, because Mr. Gore knew my story, and he told me, just leave your box here, just go to any office, just cry. And I asked, which office will I go? And told me, go to a DE office, and this education office, yeah. And I cried, and I sang that song of Eunice Jerry, will never forget till today, Bwana Yesu, kimbilio langu ni wewe, Bwana Yesu. And when I went to that office, she wrote the letter. The day I didn't know how God compelled her, and they went back to school. And there was a wicked challenge, and those people were in wicked challenge. So one person I was touched when she saw me and told me, you look to be so much disturbed. And that is how the old boy of that school cleared my school fees. But when I did my Form 4, I didn't perform. With all these challenges, I don't think you can perform. Okay. So there are people who perform, but for me, it was intense. I didn't perform. I got a C minus. I went back to Form 3 to another school called Kagema High School. In Kagema High School, I went back to us with a C minus. I know in Kiagodo I was still chairman. I was still that person to be looked upon. I went back to Kagema. I became a school captain in the same school. But there God came across because there's a guy who heard me speaking, or had either me in a church or heard my story. I spoke to the mother. They stay in Githurai. That is how for the first time in my life I got a family. You know, the people I can associate to, the way I can get love. Even they were not well up. The mother was doing just casual jobs. But she really told me, just come to my house, become like one of my son. She's called Mami, I know. I appreciate she's my mom. She's my mom figure. And now that brother is Charles. He's called Charles Miano. And a sister, Pendo. That's how I like found a home. In that home now, that is why I started now knowing other people, like mother to my friend. We used to pray. She used to come and say, let's pray for my son, Nixon. Because I never knew that guy. Just pray for my son, Nixon. I didn't need him to perform. And because the lady used to support me completely, I felt an urge. You know, when in Kagema now, after 2 years, I didn't perform well again. I scored a B minus. I said, now, where to go? The place I'm being housed, it is Habu. You know, let me call it like that. You know, I need to find my way out because I still remember I'm not there. Yes, I need to find my way. They're just helping me for me to go. Still remember I can't do her job because of my back. I still having a problem in my back. I went back to a Form 4 again. This time I went back to Jombe High School. It happened like a miracle when I went back to Jombe High School. I just made myself sitting somewhere and with a guy who is telling me, my name is Nixon. I come from Githurai. I was like, Nixon? You come from Githurai? That is the time I came to realize when I came home. Cutting long story short, I finished Form 4 again and did perform. Just the grade just stagnated, just there, the one I repeated with. It was frustration because like my friend, the one I helped, he came all the way from there, down from D's and D plus, he came all the way to C plus. I was like, oh God. But I was so happy because he performed. Even if I didn't perform, he performed at least.
Walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light. Antony was lucky to meet Nixon, who has been a good shoulder to lean on.
My name is Nixon Wandere Ngigi. I've known Antony for 7 years now. We met in high school in 2012. And naweza sema Antony amenitoa mbali na ametoka mbali. So Antony has been in fact I call him my brother. He's not just my friend, he's my brother. We've known each other for a long time and we've been there for each other through thick and thin. I met Antony first when I was in Form 3 and it was such a coincidence. So it happened that we were put in the same seat together with Antony. So he was my desk mate. So when we were talking and chatting, he mentioned that he knew my mom. And so we started talking. Soon after I realized that one of my childhood friends, kumbe tunajuana na, that's how we know each other with Antony. So we started interacting and he's told me how he knows my mom, and so all those stories started coming up. So as I said, Antony amenitoa mbali. So I mean, it's cool. I used to be underperforming. I never used to perform very well. But Antony would always encourage me. He would always tell me, keep on fighting, keep on doing this. And it happened that I was lucky enough, at least I got good grades to get me to university, and that's because of Antony's help. And I've seen Antony going through a lot in his lifetime. Even when he was in high school, it was a challenge for him to get school fees and to get assistance. So it used to be a big challenge. But at that time, I never paid too much attention to it until Form 4, I think third term. That's when Antony opened up to me. So as he was telling this story, I was really sad, and I reflected back at my life and looked at how much I have, and yet there's someone else out there who doesn't have anything. So it really touched my heart. So after that, we left school, and even the history of it, how Antony has survived high school, it's a miracle, because Antony, when we met in Jombe, that's the school we went to, Jombe High School, he was from another school. So he came into Jombe having repeated from another school, just because he didn't get the requisite grade to get him to university on scholarship, on full government sponsored scholarship. So he came back to Jombe. So he really used to study a lot. He would spare nights, he would wake up early mornings, he would do everything possible to make sure that he got that grade. So when we left school, unfortunately or fortunately, he didn't attain the grade to get a full government scholarship for at least the course that he wanted to do. And so that really frustrated him. I remember passing by his house and he was crying. He was in tears that all those years of sacrifice, man, zimeenda waste. Unaona? So I tried to encourage him as much as I could. Tell him this is not the end of the journey. The journey, in fact, has just begun. Antony was even thinking of repeating again, because you can imagine, you don't have anyone. You don't have anyone in your life. It's not like ati fees zitatoka tu anywhere. You don't have anyone.
One Zig Ziglar said, when you catch a glimpse of your potential, that's when passion is born. For Antony, education has been his main passion because it's the only passport from his darkness. After all, tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today.
Now a new phase started. Now you see, you can stay in someone's place. You have not performed. You are almost coming to an age. I started to try to do some casual jobs, like there at market, Githurai market. I used to go to a certain woman who have kibanda there, called Manjeri. I used to go there and try to do some small work, carrying some goods for the customers. But she saw that I'm struggling a lot, I'm having a lot of pain. And she told me about an institution, a prestigious institution, but for me I knew it for the rich people, which was a pass by perception. And I went there and I poured myself to the security guard. They didn't solve anything because I didn't know the security. And I was like, shoot, is my problem so big that you can share it here and you can solve it here? And then I was told to go to reception, like that. Okay, in lastly, I was told to fill a form and join this institution. When I joined the institution, I did my first, I did like the whole year without anything, school fees. And it went to many probation because I was not doing exams. And I had to go to register to drop all everything so that I can start afresh again. It came a point even I was like almost giving up. But what is painful is that when I was still in that process of like culture shock in university, trying to get in line with the institution, when I was coming home, I met someone who looked so familiar around Githurai. And when I looked at him so well, I saw he's my brother. And this was a chokora now again. I was like, what do I do? He's not in a good state of mind. I could not have taken him to the place I was staying because it's not even my place. I'm being housed. But good luck, there was nobody in that house. I took him there, he showered, he was having dreads, he was shaved, but I realized that he was having a mental problem. By that time I didn't know what was the problem. Even now I can really diagnose because I'm not through with my psychology program. But he was having a disorder, such kind of a disorder. I tried to relocate him back to the place I knew my mother had come from, my grandfather's place. But unfortunately, I was called after like 2 months that to the word I got, he committed suicide. It was tough. That is the worst thing I never want ever. Those are the leapers of memory that come to me. And I really, really wish, because I was like, it is almost, I can help him. Because I remember he had struggled a lot. I suffered because I went to depression. I remember I used to board the bus at Kencom. Najipata kule mwisho. Gari ilienda ikafika stage na watu wote wakatoka. Because it is bringing sleep disorder. But after I went to my personal therapy, somehow it was solved.
They say the mind grows by giving in, but the heart grows by giving out. And it's never about how much we give, but rather how much love we put into giving. Despite his financial struggles, Antony has a passion of helping street children, and he believes the secret of living is giving.
Currently, I'm hopeful that things will work well for me to finish. I thank God for the people who support me, because the people came across, people hear my story in different platforms. They come on board. I thank God for Mr. Steven Mushina, who is trying to hold my hand, and all the others who are trying to do something, like Paris. I know my madam called Paris. And all churches have stood and they have listened to me. And my final year, and my perhaps request to everyone who is viewing this, let's be of impact to everyone in society. Don't leave a child just for one person. Don't just mind your own business when you see there is an orphan there around. She might be going hell, or he might be going hell when you are still on your watch. Even me being here, perhaps I could have died long time ago. It's only by grace of God. I would say it's grace of God that has taken me this far. Let's be of help to everyone, and just do what pains you most.
We began a foundation when we were about to leave high school. We began a foundation. It's called the Guardian Hope Foundation. The aim was to give back to society, to give back to the orphans, and give them a sense of joy and purpose for their lives, because that's something many children's homes don't do. So when we started that foundation, you can imagine we are giving, or Antony was the chair of that foundation. He's leading us to give, yet he doesn't have. You can imagine, unaona, it's even unheard of. Wewe mwenyewe unapeana Kenya hauna. What I like most about Antony through that entire process was he always stayed positive, and he always had the heart of giving. And I think one of the biggest breakthroughs came in when he began recording music. Antony is talented. He started selling music to churches, and in a church and anauza music while still being enrolled in campus.
Okay, it's a request or encouragement to everyone who is watching this, that life, just be optimistic. I have tried everything, committing suicide, everything. I have seen, I don't say worst of all, because perhaps others are past even worse than this. But be positive to whatever you are passing through is for a purpose. Secondly, just have concern of every person who is in need around you. Not only in need, in quote, I say this example, if you see an orphan, no matter who is taking care of that orphan, just have that effort. Just go and ask, how are you doing? The child may be dying inside. You have grown up in paranoia, kind of a thing. It's like the time is coming to an end. Low self-esteem and everything. And then also, do whatever you think pains you most. That is what brings a blessing.
He has gone through every challenge man can go through. Every single challenge. And he's surpassed them all. Like, yani amepitia. But the thing that I would like to, I think the thing that I've learned from Antony, because this process has also been a process of learning. The thing that I've learned from Antony is always stay positive. Despite what the darkness that seems to be ahead, always stay positive and always believe in God. Because this has not been the work of Antony, no. The people that have been brought to Antony's life, everybody who's touched his hands on his soul have been brought directly by God. So Antony has taught me to always stay positive, always remember to give even when you don't have, because the Bible says giving is better than receiving. And that's, I think, a scripture Antony lives by even now. The thing that Antony does now still shock me. Like, they really, really shock me. Antony gives to street children. He does, I can't even mention. So that has been Antony's life, and I'm glad to have been part of it. I'm glad that God put me, or God connected us with Antony. As I said, it wasn't meant to be. So the fact that I'm here today, the fact that we are very close, I share with Antony everything I have with my life. The fact that we are very close with Antony, the fact that he's my best friend, my brother, that is a thing that I thank God for.
In the end, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have.
And my viewers, if you want to reach me, you can reach me through a Facebook account, Anto Perez. Remember, Anto Perez. And also you can reach me through an email, perezpendo@gmail.com. And then if you have any comment, you want to reach me, you may want to have my contact, you may want to reach the institution I'm in, you want to verify whatever I'm doing, you may want to call me for perhaps any motivational talk. And if you have a story you'd like to share, kindly SMS 40975. 40975, starting with hashtag the story of my life. And that is the story of my life.